Alright, BTB, let's talk about one of the head games of trumpet playing. And that is warming up for a gig. And why are we going to talk about it today? Well, it's because what I was freaking out about earlier. So the whole thing is that we want to warm up because we want our chops to feel good on the gig. We want to sound good on the gig. But if we're not practicing a warm-up, then we don't know what to do. After all these years doing this, playing big bands, playing lead trumpet, I still don't have a set warm-up. It's insane. And it's because when I'm at home practicing, I'm not thinking about warming up. I just start practicing. So then when it comes gig time, if I get a little worried, especially if I know the music is particularly challenging and I want to do a good job, then I'm like, well, I don't know how to warm up. I usually figure it out as I go. The process of playing a couple notes, chilling out for a while, playing a couple notes, chilling out for a while, until I remember how it feels for me to play my best. And for me to play my best, it doesn't have anything to do with my chops. But of course, that's where I always start. I start thinking about my chops. I start thinking about my embouchure. I start thinking about how it feels here at the aperture, feeling of setting the mouthpiece. And if things don't feel quite right, then I start wigging out. Really, the warm-up for me, and maybe for a lot of people, is more of just like a reminder of the kind of things that work for you. Now I'll just share with you guys the feeling that works for me. This is going to be different for everybody, so don't take this as some sort of good idea. When I'm playing well, or when I feel like I'm playing well, I have this sensation that I'm imagining the note, but I'm imagining that it's resonating in my throat. And I know that sounds totally weird, but hear me out. So there are some people that just say, don't even consider the physical, just think about the sound. That's never been enough for me, really. Like, what do you mean think about the sound? Where is the sound existing? Some people are very extroverted and they really resonate with the idea of projection, of pointing their sound towards something and playing to that, to projecting their sound outward. However, I spend like 99.999999999% of my time inside of my head and inside of my body. And for me, playing the trumpet is very much a physical thing as much as it is a sound thing. So I cannot really get on board with just imagining the sound unless there's a physical component to that. And for me, the idea of the sound resonating in an open throat really works because it takes my mind off of the embouchure, and it also just gets me breathing really well. And for whatever reason, when I'm thinking there, my support is where it needs to be, just from experience, from practice. The reason that I share that with you guys is because I've never really heard anybody talk about that before. Quite possibly it sounds completely insane to some people and it won't work for other people. And the point isn't to get it to work for you. The point is playing is a very personal thing. Everybody feels different when they play, and everyone's going to feel different when they warm up. So the purpose for each person's warm up is going to vary from one person to the next. This is taking me on a huge tangent here, but I just finished reading a book called Creativity, and it was written by Felipe something or other. He was the dude that walked on the wire across the World Trade Centers. The whole book is just about his creative process. And there's a lot of really great stuff in the book. If you want to read it, I definitely recommend it. But the thing that I took away from that book was that this dude is making up his own rules. His process, what works for him living his life. And I think that we can apply the same thing to trumpet playing. I mean, there are some people that believe there's one way to warm up, there are specific exercises that you got to do to warm up, this, that, and the other, and that's fine for them, but maybe you just need to do whatever you think you need to do. I'll talk to you later. Gig time.